This is StarTalk. I'm your host, Neil deGrasse Tyson, your personal astrophysicist. And today we're doing cosmic queries. We're going to start off in the first segment with a grab bag. And my guest co-host today is Jordan Klepper. Did I say
Klepper,
Klepper?
Yes.
Klepper.
Take it slow,
Jordan
Neil. I know
Klepper.
this is tough. There's a lot. There's consonants. There's syllables in there. It takes a while. We're gonna get through this. Way to tell these questions about a gravitational field. This is the easy part, Neil.
So, Jordan, I missed you. We haven't had you on the show all since COVID. So
It's been a while. I've been waiting. I've had nothing to do, Neil. I've had nothing to do. Please. I've been sour bread, children, all sorts of stuff. Thank you.
It's called sourdough bread, not sour bread.
I'm sorry. I haven't been paying attention to what the kids are into these days.
And you also cranked out a COVID baby. Congratulations. And you're still a correspondent at the Daily Show.
Yes. Still going out into the field, talking to people who are anti-vax, anti-mask, anti-science.
Exposing the irrationality of the world.
I need this, Neil. The ability to have an articulate conversation about things that aren't happening on this planet is...
Excellent. Well, let's do this. And we've got a grab bag of questions for this one. So this is going to be a potpourri. And you've had the questions. I haven't seen them. If I don't know the answer, I'll just say, I don't know, go to the next one. And so give it to me and tell us who asked the question as well. We know they're all from Patreon, who are our most devoted supporters. And so...
Kudos to you, Patreonics. Do they have a name? Do we have is that shorthand?
Oh, no, we don't. I like that, the Patreonics.
It sounds like an old school R&B group.
Patreonics.
Yeah, give it up for Gladys Knight and the Patreonics. The Pips could, she moved past the Pips. They were asking for too much money. The Patreonics, let's bring them in.
I love it.
Our first Patreonic is Sandra Pagliani, and she wants to know, knowing what we know now, do you think we have all that we need to be able to safely send humans to Mars today? If not, what are we missing?
Yeah, so great question. So the answer is yes. No one is saying we can't go to Mars because we can't figure it out. That is not the issue. The issue is it's expensive. Do people want to do it for that much money? And there'll be dangers because there'll be some unknowns and some unknown unknowns. We get it. But probably the last thing that we haven't fully figured out, but if you task some engineers to it, they'll be on it. I'm not worried about this, is when you leave the protective magnetic blanket that we enjoy here on Earth's surface, that shields us from some ionizing radiation from the sun. The sun is a very active place. The solar wind has all these charged particles that are not good for human physiology. The atmosphere and the magnetic field protects us from that. You leave that and go on a long voyage, then you are now susceptible. So we need radiation protection along the way. And so the engineers would figure that out, to figure out what materials. By the way, you know what absorbs that radiation? Water. So imagine a spaceship where there's a layer of protective water that cycles through you. Okay, so you would drink it, you pee it out, it would go, you filter it, go back in. So you'd have this system where life-sustaining water is also your shield. Then you get to Mars. Mars doesn't have a magnetic field to protect it, so you need to live underground or something. Okay.
And you feel confident that we just throw some engineers at that and they can figure it out. There's still not the technology to figure out how to send me to Phoenix safely. I've tried SPF. I've tried thick clothing. My body doesn't withstand the heat.
Yeah, Phoenix, latest research shows, is like a quarter mile from the surface of the sun. So you need special SPF 1 billion for that. I think engineers, what they need is, what is the challenge? How much money do you have and how much time do you have? Okay, and then that's where ingenuity feeds the engineer. And they solve problems that previously might have been thought to be intractable. So that's where. So we don't have a field. We don't have discovery without engineers sitting in the next room helping us figure out how to build the thing. So yeah, there's nothing in the way except money.
So we're basically there. In a capitalistic society, consider us on Mars.
Well, that's the little. I would say a capitalist society with vision and a sense of wonder and exploration. We're already on Mars.
Let's hear from our next patriotic. This is TJ Monroe. He says, Dr. Tyson, could you explain the relationship between the plane of our solar system and the plane of our galaxy? I know that our sun is moving south, but how does that relate to the galactic disk?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So the sun's the sun's spin axis and the disk in which all the planets orbit, except Pluto, which is tipped 30 degrees out of the plane of all the other planets. That's another reason we never even listed for you why Pluto had it coming. Okay. So, and
Neil, you got to get off the Pluto thing, all right? The patriotics have spoken. It's time to move on from the Pluto thing.
MoveOn.org. So the angle that the solar system makes to the plane of the galaxy, it's like, what is it, 90? It's more than fully tipped, and so we're actually sort of dragging through the galaxy as we orbit it. It takes a couple 100 million years to complete an orbit. But here's what's cool. The cool part is, as the solar system moves through the galaxy, if you tracked the paths through space that the planets are making, it's a corkscrew through the fabric of space and time. Because we're going around the sun, but we're also moving sideways to it. So if you combine circular motion with motion sideways, you get a corkscrew. And so all the planets are corkscrewing around the sun as it moves through the galaxy. It's a beautiful thing to watch when you see it mapped out.
You could also say it's like a toilet bowl, but then it wouldn't be a beautiful thing. I guess corkscrew was the right call, is what I'm saying. Neil.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'm good. I'm sticking with the corkscrew on that. Yeah.
This is from Rick Carlson. Hi, Dr. Tyson and friends. Because I'm one of the friends. Klepper is how it's pronounced. Klepper. Because we can detect gravitational waves from massive astronomical events, LIGO and Virgo, that obviously didn't tear the place up. Is there a distance from the events that would be considered safe, but would still allow you to notice/feel it?
Ooh, I never thought about that because you occupy a volume in the fabric of space and time, and a gravitational wave washes over you, distorting the fabric of space and time, but you are occupying the space and time. So how would you know if you had a wave move across you, if you become part of the wave that moves across you? I don't have an answer for that. So you ever see a duck sitting on the ocean and then a wave comes by, the duck just goes up and down, right? Does the duck even know or care that it's a wave went under it? And so I don't know that you would feel it. I'd have to think about that.
This is why I get stoned before doing these things.
No, think about it. Consider you have an ant walking on a sheet of paper, okay? And the ant is just minding something. And you take the piece of paper and curve it. The ant is just still walking. Does it even know or care that you put curvature in its universe? You would have no idea if you're the ant. And so, unless you made like a kink in it, then it would have to then the kink is sharp compared to its own body. But if it's a wave moving through, I wonder if we would notice at all. And you need the special instruments to make this measurement. That's why. So you're measuring at two right angles, all right? And so you look at what the length of one of these is relative to the length of the other as the wave moves across it, because it stretches in one direction and not the other. And for you to notice that, I don't know. So that's a good question. I don't have a firm answer for it. But nor do I want to do the experiment to find out.
You don't want to ride that wave?
No, I don't want to ride that wave. No.
Let's check in with Roman Prekop. Okay, Roman says, is there any scientific reason for the shape of the Enterprise ship? If it is just an artistic impression, would it actually hold up as an effective shape out there?
Yeah, so first of all these aerodynamic shapes in space, completely pointless because there's no aerodynamics in space. So they're cool and badass looking, okay? But that ship was built in dry dock in space and launched from space, so it didn't have to move through our atmosphere to get there. Right? Whereas the space shuttle, the orbiter, because it had to actually come out of orbit and navigate through our air, there's some air surfaces on it. It's got wings, it's got a nose cone, it's got things that matter when you're moving through the air. So the Enterprise, badass as it looks, did not have to be that bad. It could have been just an angular thing that it could have looked like anything and would have been no less effective achieving warp speeds. So
here's a question I'm going to add on to this for you, Neil.
Yeah.
So in this world where the Enterprise is being built in space,
yes.
from a more advanced civilization, time period wise, they have the technology to build the Enterprise. Do you think the people at that time, even though they could build a more functional ship, the people at that time would still need an aesthetically cool ship to want to support such a project?
Yes. Because you want people to like rally around it. You want it to feel like the future. And future stuff has to look badass. Otherwise, what's going to motivate you? What's going to do? So I'm into design. I love design. I love good design. I love design that says, yeah, I want to be in that. I want to be a part of that future. Because what is the future if not something that doesn't look like anything we've ever designed before?
Do you think human beings will ever evolve past the need for design to be overfunction, or is that inherent to us as humans?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. I know that, once we control the human genome, you can put more of it in or take it out, I guess. I don't know. I know some people who don't care about design at all. We all know such people. They're not following the latest fashions or trends or anything, and they're just living. All right, and that's cool. That's cool. But we happen to live in a world where there are people that care about what things look like. And I'm glad some of them are designing our spaceships. So, Jordan, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to bring in Nicole Stott, who has a new book on what Earth looks like from space. Because guess what? She's been in space, okay? And she's also an artist and thinks a lot about the effects of having these views of the universe on one's creativity. So we're going to look into that and continue Cosmic Queries into those topics when StarTalk returns. We're back, StarTalk Cosmic Queries edition. And I got my co-host, Jordan Klepper. Jordan.
Let's bring in friends, Neil.
Okay. Jordan, do you have a social media presence? Why don't you tell us what that is?
Do I have a social media presence? I think I'm all over that place. You can get at me at Twitter at Jordan Klepper. Get at me at Instagram. Also, my name. Yeah.
Jordan Klepper, very clever. They both have the same handle.
Exactly.
Very
you got to be clever with this kind of a thing. It's a nice chance. It's an invitation to see more of my life and my insights and hopefully.
Well, we love your dispatches on Comedy Central's daily show. So keep those going. That's right. And what that means is if the day that rationality takes over the world, you won't have a job because the people.
Well, once this world becomes a rational, peaceful place, I'm out of work. But until then, business is booming.
Business is booming. All right. So in this segment, we're bringing in Nicole Stott. Nicole is an engineer, an artist, and a retired NASA astronaut. Put in 104 days in space. So that's up there doing some stuff. And also, I remember we had these, the NASA Aquanaut. All right, spending 18 days underwater in the Aquarius Undersea Laboratory. Very pleased to know that we're doing some work there at the bottom of the ocean. But here's what I love about it. Nicole, you're the first person to paint in watercolor in space. What's up with that? And tell me about this Space for Art Foundation that you're director of.
Yeah, thanks. Great to be here with you guys. And yeah, painting in space. I don't know that I would have figured out to do that on my own. One of our people that I thank every time I see her, Mary Jane Anderson. You know, she was the person who helps us put all of our stuff together that we're going to take to space. And she encouraged me. She's like, you know, Nicole, you're going to be living there, not just working there. Bring something with you that you enjoy doing on Earth. And so I chose watercolors.
Wait, something that fits in a small bag,
It has to
not
fit
a tuba.
in a small bag.
Yeah, it's
you know,
not-
although there are others who have, you know, gotten away with bringing keyboards and guitars and other things up there. But
The Peloton might not make the cut.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But it was awesome because, you know, I think about it now in hindsight, it's like, man, that's what we need to do to put the human in human space flight, right? We need to recognize that we're living there. We need to bring our humanity with us. That should be stuff that we enjoy. And you should enjoy yourself when you're in space on a spaceship, but, you know, as well as here on Earth. And it was,
Well, is this part of the themes that fed your latest book, Back to Earth, What Life in Space Taught Me About Our Home Planet and Our Mission to Protect It? Because that all sounds like it's drawn from the same thematic pot.
yeah, I think so. You know, we go, and you guys talk about this all the time, complexities that are just beyond my total understanding. But for us to fly in space, to live and work in there, even for a short period of time, it's a pretty complex thing. But for me, in the end, it all came down to like simple lessons like, oh my gosh, we live on a planet. Who knew? You know, we're all.
Wait, Nicole. We have to spend $100
No, you didn't have to spend that.
million to put you in space to tell me we live on a planet?
Yeah.
Really?
There's taxpayers
Maybe.
listening to this right now.
The taxpayers listening.
Yeah, there's an alert put out now, right?
We got to use that money for the American education system, clearly.
However, it's this. We all know these things, right? We know we live on a planet. We know we're Earthlings. We know that the only border that really matters is that thin blue line of atmosphere. And yet, that time and space for me made that really real to me. Made me realize that wow, we are doing things. Complex things as an international community peacefully, successfully on this mechanical life support system. That is absolutely
The International Space
the
Station.
International Space Station. We've built it, right, to mimic as best we can what Earth does for us naturally. And it's just the most wonderful example for how we should be living like crewmates here on Spaceship Earth. And that really became the reality of it for me. What are the ways we do that in space, you know, as the crew of 6 or 7 on the space station, the tens of thousands of people across the agencies here on Earth, that we can share that might encourage people to behave that way as crewmates and not passengers.
Wait. So what does art have to do with it? And plus, I'm a little worried because that thing hanging behind you on the wall, was that a spacesuit that an artist got a hold of?
Is that, you know, this thing is awesome. So you asked about the Space for Art Foundation, and I painted in space, came back to Earth thinking, okay, I'm going to use, after retiring from NASA, I'm going to use my artwork to share the experience, right? Get people knowing about all this work we're doing in space that's ultimately about improving life on Earth. And that evolved into working with kids in hospitals and refugee centers around the world and creating these really, I mean, they are works of art, art spacesuits. And partnering with teams like the folks here at ILC Dover, the spacesuit company who quilt these kids' art together for us.
That's where you are in this moment?
That's where I am right now. Yeah, really kind of cool today. You know, even as a former astronaut, it's like anytime you can get in a spacesuit, that's a good day.
Okay.
Hey, I got to do that. Got to get in one of the new designs and move around and see what it's going to be like and imagine myself walking around on the moon or Mars.
So you're not the first astronaut to bring art to the forefront of people's attention. We can go back to the Apollo era and we get to Alan Bean. I mean, he published books on art.
Yeah.
So is the art something that, should we be sending more artists into space? Because they would communicate a different kind of life experience than an engineer would? And you have the benefit of being both.
Yeah, I think, what's interesting to me is I've kind of, through my NASA career, watched the people around me and try to get a sense of, you know, what they enjoy, the kinds of things they're doing outside of the technical work area. And I think for most of us, there's some creative outlet. And, you know, you mentioned Alan Bean, Apollo, fourth guy to walk on the moon, who comes back, retires from NASA, and paints the experience for people. You can go back even further to Alexei Leonov, who wanted to be an artist before he wanted to be a cosmonaut, and took colored pencils with him and sketched, sketched orbital sunrises, drew portraits during the Apollo-Soyuz mission, and my friend Karen Nyberg, who quilted in space, and Al Warden, who wrote poetry. I mean, it's just in us to wanna, to want to share the experience in different ways. And I'm absolutely open. We should be sending artists. We should be sending, all
Satirical
kinds of people to
comedians.
space to share it. We should be sending Jordan.
Thank you. I tell you, what you're describing, you go away just to understand that the earth is beneath us. You get to quilt, you get to paint a little bit. I feel like this sounds like an ayahuasca trip, and I am in.
Yeah, and we'll need some Earth jokes, when
Yeah.
we get back.
Yes, exactly.
New material for that stand-up routine you got going.
Yeah.
So Nicole, your book is Back to Earth: What Life in Space Taught Me About Our Home Planet and Our Mission to Protect It. And we solicited questions
Yeah.
for you from our fan base, from our Patreon fan base. And in this program, Jordan has renamed this community. What did you call them, Jordan?
It's the Patrionics.
The Patrionics. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gladys Knight and the Patrionics.
So here we go. They're our most loyal supporters, and they get their questions asked, submitted and answered. So Jordan, what do you have for us?
I got Ben Moore, and Ben wants to know. He says, "Hi, Dr. Tyson and Nicole. My question is for Nicole, and I was wondering if you could give us an insight into what it's truly like to look back at Earth from space. It's been a dream of mine, and I can barely begin to comprehend what that must be like. Thanks for your time."
And Nicole, before you answer that, I have to put this in. There are people who are going in the suborbital sort of joyride, the billionaire joyrides, and to a schoolroom globe, they went up the thickness of 2 dimes. Okay, I did the math on that. And so not even in orbit and even that low. Is there some distance above which you do feel like, yeah, I'm an astronaut and I'm looking down on Earth, rather than I'm just in a very high airplane?
I don't know what that number would be. I'd like to think that the folks that flew on, on the Virgin and on the Blue Origin flight had their face in the window long enough to really let it soak in. Quit the little flippy doos and look back at Earth.
I mean, the zero-G flippy doos, yes, okay.
For that. I mean, don't use your 5 minutes that way. I can tell you, nothing prepared me for what I was going to see, what I was going to feel, how it was going to get in me. This sense of our home as a planet, as one place in space. I described to my son, who was 7 when I flew the first time, I'm like, oh my gosh, Roman, imagine that you've got the brightest light bulb you've ever seen. You've splattered it with all the colors you know Earth to be. It's against the blackest, deepest black backdrop that you've ever seen. And now you turn that light bulb on and you have to kind of look away and adjust, because it just glows with this iridescence and translucence, and you, I don't know. I mean, I was the farthest I've ever been from home, and I felt more connected to that place and everything below me than I had necessarily ever felt with my feet right on it. And I want people to feel that.
So Nicole, you tell me an IMAX movie can't do that for you?
There's a sense of it.
Because that's cheaper. That's cheaper than
cheaper.
going to the space station.
I'd like to see all of our leaders get to space and bounce their heads around in the window, Instead of in Glasgow in November, how about we get them on a station with their faces in the window? But I don't think you have to go to space to know these things, to feel these things, to appreciate the awe and wonder that surrounds us every day. And I think looking up to the sky is an equally stunning and compelling way to get that sense as looking back at Earth is.
Okay, cool. All right, Jordan, what else you got for us?
We got Brian Lacey here. Brian says, art is the expression of emotional power. What object in the universe makes you feel emotional power?
Wow.
Emotional power. Wow. I think I would have to come back to this view of Earth, this sense of home that comes from that. And I don't know. I think it's emotionally powerful. I don't know if it necessarily gives me emotional, but it's emotionally powerful. And you guys talk about
you're powerful on you is different from feeling power. Right? That's a different thing.
Yeah.
So is it humbling?
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And You know this almost unfathomable size of our universe, what we know of the universe, this sense of, oh, we're this tiny little dot kind of thing, and the grand scheme, and that always worried me that I'd have this feeling of insignificance associated with that. Absolutely not. I mean, thinking about our planet perfectly placed from the sun, distance-wise, doing all it needs to do, like it's the spaceship to take care of us, that's significant to me. That we're meeting each other today because there's some significance in all of this that's going on around us in this place. And that's, I don't know, that's a pretty powerful, emotionally powerful thing to consider.
So your book has a New Age chapter then.
Yeah. There is the Stay Grounded chapter, yes.
We're all spiritually connected.
It's true.
Right?
I think it's true. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I'll tell you what object makes me feel emotionally powerful and wields power over me. It makes me feel insignificant. It's Instagram.
Instagram.
Like, I think immediately
We need
feel
top people
like
to look into that. Yes.
Exactly.
The Instagram
I feel
effect.
like
Look away. You can't look away.
nothing.
Yeah.
Yes. You stare at it and yet you feel small in comparison to your friends who went to Tulum.
All right, keep them coming. What do you have?
This is from Chester Lipschitz.
Mm-hmm.
Would it even be practical to use the mediums we use today to create art in zero gravity, as in orbit or low gravity such as Mars? Would we have to develop a whole new set of materials to continue to use our human creativity to express the environment that surrounds us?
I love that. Yeah, what role does zero G play in your artwork? Or even like 40% G, what you'd get on Mars?
Yeah, I think we will. I think we will try to continue using the same medium that we have, and then we'll just realize that that environment allows us to do a lot more creative things with it. And I mean, I even found that on the space station. I didn't have a cup of water that I could dip my brush into. I had to squirt a little ball of water out and watch it floating, and go to dip the brush, and maybe you guys can, once and for all, somebody can explain to me, but that floating ball of water, even before the tip of the brush touched it, it's like it wanted to move onto the end of the brush. And then I'm watching this floating ball of water onto the brush, and I move it down to the paints, and the paints kind of pulled it away. And, in my simple mind, I'm thinking, what's this super mysterious attraction thing that's going on between these materials?
Yeah, surface tension. Yeah, we could.
Yeah, I know, and it is, and that's like the surface tension is that's really really cool, and I tried to paint the way I paint on Earth, and yet if I touched the brush to the paper, that whole blob of colored water would go into the paper, and I'd start over. And it turned out.
So your tactics have to be different.
Yeah,
yes.
and you're floating,
Yeah.
and everything has to be organized. And I found I was just like dragging the colored water along the paper to create. So in some way, I was.
Okay, so what we need to see is your first painting. That's the one where you're adjusting.
Yeah, I wish I had activated my brain cell to not throw those things away, to keep them. But
My first painting in zero G. That's what that is.
Yeah.
And another little point, unappreciated perhaps, is on the moon or on Mars, you can construct sculptures that are multiple times larger than you can on Earth because they don't weigh as much. And so they won't structurally, they can hold themselves up to larger sizes. Yeah. And so
I can't
you're
wait
right.
to see what we do.
But you have to send the artists. And the one comedian. You have to do that. Just
Please.
To critique the art, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So Jordan, here's a joke for you for when they send you to the moon.
I'll take it.
And saying, I love the restaurants there. They were wonderful, great food, but they had no atmosphere. That's a gift to you. Your first joke in the nightclub on Mars.
Is this thing on? Is this thing on? Does electricity work up here? Actually, I don't know. Is this room dead? Oh, it is. Okay. All right. Okay.
Let's see if we can squeeze one more question in before we take a quick break. Go ahead.
Great. This is from Gabriella Dijhoffs. Hi, Nicole. As a female engineer, it's so impressive to see another fellow female being an astronaut for NASA. In a male-dominated industry, only 65 out of 565 total astronauts have been women. What was it like for you throughout your career to be a female in the industry? And do you have any advice for young female engineers?
Which we'll get to after this break.
All right.
See what I did there? I created the suspense.
I also felt like you were like, well, let's keep it short, and I asked a question. What's it like to be one of the?
I said we have a few
female
seconds
space-
left to get in a question,
Let's-
and now your question is.
Let's keep it short, Nicole.
Yeah, Nicole, answer that in 3 words, please. All right, when we come back, we, we will answer that very important question about sort of gender parity in space exploration and in the engineering community when StarTalk returns. We're back with Nicole Stott, who's our engineer, artist, astronaut in the house, and who's now coming to us from Planet Houston, where from a whole company that thinks about innovative designs of spacesuits. And you've got one behind you that where an artist got a hold of it, it looks like.
Lots of little artists, yeah.
Lots of little artists got a hold of it. Jordan Klepper left off with a brilliant and important and incisive question. Can you just read that back again real quick, Jordan?
Yeah, in a nutshell, this is from Gabriella, who's also a female engineer. She wonders what it was like for you throughout your career to be a female in the industry, and do you have any advice for young
Yeah,
females?
excellent. And especially given the prevalence of males in such an industry and what struggles or challenges you had to overcome.
Yeah, it is a great question. And, first I'll say I felt all along really fortunate because I think when I came into NASA as a young engineer in the late 80s, already there was this push. There was the group I came in with, half of us were young women coming in. We were getting back up and running with the shuttle program. We're working in the hangar, getting the vehicles ready to fly. And there was just a presence there already. And
which, by the way, was a huge shift
yeah.
from the previous generation of anything we thought of who would be an astronaut. Right? Yeah, that was a whole new era for NASA.
Yeah, and it's from within NASA, at least from the human spaceflight side of things, there's been a real progress over these 50 or so years, to where we've been celebrating the Apollo anniversaries, 50th anniversaries of all the Apollo missions, right? And when you look back at that, and you look in mission control, there were no women in the front room. Poppy Northcutt was in the back room doing some really important stuff. At launch control in Florida, at Kennedy Space, there was one woman, Joanne Morgan, smack dab in the middle of the Launch Control Center. And now, at NASA, in mission control and launch control, both of those places are run by really incredible women. And when you look across the consoles, you're just seeing this mix of humanity. You're not
as it should have been from the beginning.
Yes.
And
it's a really impressive thing, and it kind of is pervasive across all of the human spaceflight stuff, engineers, astronauts. When you look at the astronaut office even now, when I left in 2015, it was still at about the 20-25% women in the office. Now I think there's roughly 40 active astronauts and almost 40% are women. And that far exceeds what's happening in our universities and the engineering programs. And that's why I think the one piece of advice I would have and maybe it's more for us women who have already experienced this, is that we need to be present. We need to be there encouraging the young women in middle school. So as they continue on they need to see, I think girls are kind of see it, be it, right? And
well, we should get you on StarTalk.
Well, I'd be happy to be on StarTalk. let's see. Okay. So thank you.
No.
It's huge, isn't it? And and it's just so that and young boys too need to know. It's like the rocket ship doesn't care if you're a boy or girl, right? We do that kind of ourselves. And my biggest
wait. There's another important point there, which you hinted at, but I want to drive home. It is one thing for up and coming girls to see successful women in these roles. It's also important for up and coming boys to see that.
Yes.
That is almost equally as important, because then they will realize that they could be entering a field where this is fully participatory across the spectrum.
Yep.
And that's part of the forcing of what needs to happen in the society if we're truly to have a representative world.
Yeah, totally agree. And it's why, I'm hugely thankful to the male leadership I had in NASA for, encouraging the growth, kind of the diversity that showed up in that time frame as well. And I have a son. He's 19 years old now. I don't think it crosses his mind to consider, why is that girl doing this versus, and I love that. I love it.
Are you friends with Kathy Sullivan?
I am, yes.
Did you come up with her?
Yeah.
Yeah. We've served on several boards together. She became a good friend, and
Yeah.
this is also a shuttle astronaut, Jordan, and she went on she became head of NOAA,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, she had quite a career.
Yeah.
Like, usually you say, oh, I'm done as an astronaut, now you're out to pasture. No, this just kept going. And
She's awesome.
so it's great to
She just
see.
did like the Marianas Trench thing too.
Oh my gosh, you guys are
Yeah.
out of control.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I know astronauts too. You ever heard of Buzz Aldrin?
Oh yes, we.
So,
Jordan, we had Jordan on a
yeah.
program, on a show where we had Buzz Aldrin as one of our guests. So that's his one experience that he'd never let anybody forget.
I text with Buzz all the time. Well, yeah, so we're all friends with astronauts.
Yes.
All right, so you got more questions, Jordan, from our Patreonics.
I do. This is from Miss Magoo from Canada.
Cool.
All right, a question about coming back to Earth for Nicole. What goes on inside the body when you experience a massive change, like going from space to Earth? I live with a nervous system disorder called POTS, and I understand astronauts can experience something similar upon returning to Earth. For example, fainting, trouble being upright.
Wow.
Yeah, great question. One thing we all have in common when we come back to Earth, whether we're there for a short period of time or a long period of time, is you feel really heavy. This whole 1G thing, that's putting a lot of load on us every day. We just kind of take it for granted, right? We don't really consider it. Let me tell you, everybody feels heavy. But yeah, the whole vestibular system, that whole thing in our bodies that help us stand up straight, know which way is up, down, it gets a little wacky, and the little hairs in our ears that help control that or monitor it for us need to be recalibrated really once you get back in gravity. And
Plus, don't you break a lot of glasses because you drink water and you just let go of it and it falls to the ground and you forget you're no longer in zero
yeah,
G?
there is. There's the oh my gosh, I was just in space an hour ago, and there's the why don't things just float in front of me like they deal. It's funny though, our brains and our bodies are so cool. They adapt so quickly both ways. I mean, really in the grand scheme of, getting to space and figuring out how to float and move in 3 dimensions and fly, like we all dream about doing, and then coming back to Earth and moving and functioning and being healthy the way, we were before going to space.
Well, how about in the condition that the woman describes? Are there any musculoskeletal coordination issues you have to contend with when you come back, other than just what's up and down and left and right?
Yeah, well, and I think some of that comes from kind of that spatial, orientation that we have. Is that which way should I move? And when you're in space, your body's floating, and you can just offload all of that. But when you come back to Earth, now you have to be in control of it. You have to think about holding your head up. I mean, our heads are heavy. And so now I'm like, I didn't have to do that for 6 months. Now I got to hold it up.
I hadn't even thought about that.
I mean,
so astronauts come back, their head is just dangling.
It could be bobbing, yeah. And so
the original bobbleheads are astronauts.
But there is. I think there's a lot of that same kind of thing. And if we were in space and we didn't exercise the 2 hours a day that we do, because of the accelerated bone and muscle loss, because our bodies figure out, oh my gosh, I don't need those bones and muscles to function in microgravity, so I'm not going to waste any energy maintaining them. We are having to counteract that all the time.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So it's the prior knowledge that, yes, you have to keep your musculoskeletal system tuned so that when you come back, you're not just this pile of goo that collapses on the ground. Yeah. Okay. All right. Jordan, keep them coming.
This is from Taylor Prim. Taylor wants to know, what do you think art can do to help make a science or science itself more accessible for the blind? I'm trying to get a degree in astronomy, and I'm blind. Most of the tools the school uses for teaching students is inaccessible for the blind.
Wow. I was just on a call yesterday with some of the folks at Huntsville that run Space Camp.
It's Huntsville, Alabama.
Yep, Huntsville, Alabama. They run Space Camp, and they have every summer. They have at the end of summer, beginning of the school year, they have a camp where all of the kids are blind or really, to have trouble seeing. I mean, and I struggle with that. I'm like, how they have created an environment around these kids where it's not just the procedures that are in Braille, or the screens have bigger writing on them. But they've put them into the environment in a way where through their other senses, they're experiencing the whole, world of being in mission control, of being a crew member, through those different.
So somebody thought about this,
Somebody
clearly.
has actually thought. I encourage you to go check this out. I'm sure the people
I did not
there
know about
would
this. This is brilliant.
love
This is brilliant.
to talk about what they've done. It was just incredible to me. And I think art, as a way, it allows us to use those other senses, right? To create something. Like, I always imagine, like, these Hubble images, we're looking at them, we're seeing them, the colors, those colors we put into these images, they are works of art. And yet we could create a structure out of that. We could, almost like a textured map that would give you a sense of that same thing we see in the colors, but through the touch of that scene, or what we're seeing in the night sky just with our naked eye. And
interesting. So is this a well-known program? I mean,
I
in
didn't know
Huntsville?
anything about it
Okay.
before. I was so excited to hear about it because,
Okay.
and then to hear some of the comments from the students that were participating. I mean, first of all, they were just, there was like this joy of being with other people that were experiencing it in the same way they were, and being able to share that, and then really just actively being able to engage in what every other kid that goes to space camp engages in, but through different means.
Art is not only a two-dimensional phenomenon,
Yeah.
right? I mean, sculpting and so
Sound.
much else. Yes, exactly. The acoustic sculptures. That's right. There's more going on.
I went down to space camp a few years ago, and a fun fact is even a 40-year-old who goes to space camp can find himself nauseous for over an hour straight.
Oh, okay. Yes, that's right. You don't need to be sighted to feel nauseous and throw up.
Yeah,
I blew, but I flew. Yeah. That is true.
Yeah, excellent. So, Jordan, keep going.
Yes. This is from Woody. And Woody wants to know, what part of space travel could be better? We've been doing it for over 50 years. We've spent trillions on it, so why can't they keep the cabin pressure constant enough that kids' ear holes don't explode on a $90 3-hour trip on a dang Boeing?
Oh my gosh. I loved every minute of it. I would have to say, my first space flight, we didn't have the cupola module, that kind of Earth-facing bay window observatory on the space station. And on my second flight, we did. And I'll tell you what could make it better is just more windows, bigger windows. Let me look back at Earth. Let me look out to deep space. Let me have the opportunity to just experience everything around me from every angle.
And by the way, the Boeing 787 has larger windows.
Yeah.
All right, relative to other craft. And by the way, the size of the window is an important structural issue, because the window is not holding the plane together. The rest of the plane is holding the plane together. So the more windows you have, there's a compromise there. So now, how about the pressure? What is the pressure inside the International Space Station relative to what you might experience in an airplane?
Probably better, because we keep the pressure inside the space station at sea level pressure. So what
you do?
people are normally experiencing. Yeah, it's very nice, very comfortable. Yeah.
Wow, yeah, because on an airplane, they drop the pressure a little bit, because if you keep the same pressure as sea level, they have to make the structure of the plane stronger to accommodate the pressures against the very low pressure at 40,000 feet. So fascinating.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
So they cheap out. That's why.
Yeah,
That's why you get headaches. And
it's not how I said it, Jordan.
you're a little bit loosey goosey, and you end up buying 3 Tanquerays and tonics. They do that because
they
they
knock
don't
it
want
down,
to
they just knock
splurge
you
for
out.
thicker walls.
Yeah, in fact, with the lower air pressure, the alcohol has a stronger effect on you, and so. Yeah.
I mean, and also, is that why I weep at any Pixar movie?
That is, I've teared up in some movies that I don't think I would have teared up at sea level. We've got to have somebody look into that.
Oh yeah, Old Yeller at sea level, dry.
I saw
Old
Babe,
Yeller,
the movie
30,000
Babe
feet
with
up.
the pig. I teared up at the end of that. That was so tender. I first saw that on an airplane. But anyway, we got time for like 1 or 2 more questions. Let's keep going.
Great. This is from Zenskuti Bentz. Hello, Neil and Nicole. What was the strangest habit you had to get used to while being in space? Many thanks from Hungary.
Oh, cool.
Strangest habit. It's strange but wonderful. Floating. Well, it's strange. It is strange. I mean, it's funny how now I look at my friends. I live vicariously through them, floating through the space station. But that's a pretty strange thing to.
Easy habit to kick, though.
One
of the easiest habits to kick.
You want more. So would you find yourself, now that you're retired, would you go up on what they used to call the vomit comet? You know, the trajectory planes that simulate zero G.
Yep.
Would you do that just to get a little piece of the action again?
Yeah, I just did it recently, actually. It was really wonderful. Got to take my family with me. Was on the plane with Charlie Duke, which was outstanding.
Nice.
You know, if we want to throw astronaut names out there. And it was like, I mean, it just felt.
See, Jordan, what you made her do? You made her name drop an Apollo astronaut.
Wow.
Jordan, come on. Why did you make it? Jordan.
That was so much fun.
It's not a competition, guys. Space race is decades ago.
I do highly recommend you go on that zero-G airplane, though, and just gracefully float and appreciate it. Yeah.
Okay, but you can tell us, and we won't tell anybody except for
all the
our
people that are listening.
500,000 viewers. Yeah. So, how quickly did you barf in zero G?
Oh my gosh, I didn't. I did not barf. I was so fortunate. So fortunate.
You are lying. You
I
are
am not lying.
Jordan, on to the
lying.
next question. We got.
Not lying. I felt
We don't
so
need
good.
this.
All I wanted was my peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Now, when I got back to Earth, I wanted to barf but couldn't. I so wished that I could have thrown up, and I think I would have felt so much better on that, those first few hours, but it didn't happen.
Wow. Okay.
I'm not lying to you, man. I had plenty of crew members who didn't either.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't want to end on a barf question. So Jordan, last question. Give me one more.
Last question here, and a lot of people want to know about the overview effect, and I know we talked a little bit about it. But Maddie Fontaine wants to know from Minnesota, what would be the effect on society if every person got the chance to see Earth from orbit?
Oh, beautiful question to end this on. And unfortunately, Nicole, you got to be a little fast in the answer.
I'm gonna be
what
fast.
can you tell us?
I think it would be one of the most wonderful things, most positive, uplifting, life-changing things for everyone.
And would it be the end of all wars and things?
Well, I would love to.
I'd be out of a job. I'd be out of a job. Oh no!
I don't know. It would be better.
Everything would be better.
I think so.
Okay.
You can't experience that and not have it affect you. Overview affect you.
I like that crewmates, not passengers idea. I think that's a nice way. That's a nice way to put it.
Okay, so here's I'm going to give Edgar Mitchell the last word in this. Edgar Mitchell, Apollo 14. You ready? Mm-hmm. Here it goes. You develop an instant global consciousness, a people orientation, an intense dissatisfaction with the state of the world, and a compulsion to do something about it. From out there on the moon, international politics looks so petty. You want to grab a politician by the scuff of the neck and drag him 250,000 miles out and say, "Look at that, you son of a bitch." Nicole, do we have agreement on that?
We have absolute agreement on that.
All right.
Can a podcast get an edit? A podcast.
All right, guys. Nicole, thanks for spending time out of your busy life with us on StarTalk and our fan base. And just keep it going. Keep inspiring us all in everything you do. And how do we find you on social media?
You can find me at @Astro_Nicole on
Astro Nicole. You've got it. And we've got your new book coming out. And who's the publisher of that?
Hachette Books with Seal Press. Yes.
Okay, excellent. We'll be looking for it.
Thank you.
And all right. And Jordan, always good to have you, man. I missed you throughout all of COVID. Don't be a stranger next year.
Just call me. Just call me, Neil. I'm by the phone. I need the.
You waiting by the phone? Okay.
But he'll hang up on you if Buzz calls.
All right, that's right.
Which he does regularly. We talk about anything.
All right. This has been StarTalk Cosmic Queries, the overview edition. Neil deGrasse Tyson here, your personal astrophysicist. Keep looking up. This is StarTalk Cosmic Queries edition. Today, I got Josh Clark in the house. And you know him from Stuff You Should Know and a newly emergent podcast called The End of the World. Josh, welcome to StarTalk.
Thank you very much for having me here. I mean, I'm really thrilled to be sitting here right
Excellent. And my co-host, Chuck Nice.
Hey. How are you, Neil?
Welcome. And so I'm your host, Neil deGrasse Tyson. So Josh, just Stuff You Should Know, hugely popular.
Yeah, we just hit 1 billion downloads.
Wow.
We've been around for almost 11 years. Wow. And I think from what we understand, we're the first podcast to ever hit 1 billion downloads.
So now we have to teach you how to say that.
Okay, all right.
You had a billion.
Eventually we'll get billions and billions of downloads.
Yeah, when you have 2 billions, then we'll teach you to say billions and billions.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you very much.
Excellent.
Thank you.
So that's a testament to not only how good the show is, but also that you've tapped into the fact that people still want to learn.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, when we started doing it in 2008, learning was actually popular. I don't know if you remember back then, but being smart and geeky was super cool.
Yeah.
And it's kind of changed a little bit recently, but overall, I think the fact that we are still popular shows that there always has been and always will be people who want to keep learning. People who leave college and they're like, well, wait a minute, that was pretty cool.
Lifelong learners.
Right, exactly.
Right.
And they definitely are a fan base. And there's a lot of them out there, we can tell you.
And you weren't satisfied with just Stuff You Should Know. Now you got to end the world.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
So, Chuck, we solicited questions from our fan base, our social media platform, who knew Josh was coming on the show.
Yeah.
And so they came at us.
They did indeed. And of course, we gleaned these questions from every StarTalk incarnation on the interwebs. And we always start with a Patreon patron because...
You're so crass.
Well, I am indeed. I have no shame, Neil.
Man.
Yes, that and the Patreon patrons give us money, and so therefore we give them
They get their questions
we give
first.
them precedent and privilege because we're like your government, people. We're like your government. Wow. God, do I really want to start off on such a heavy note? Why not? Let's do it. This is Luke Meadows from Patreon. He says
Luke Meadows. That sounds like a soap opera name.
it does kind
Luke
of.
Meadows.
Oh, you know what? That's kind of cool. Yes,
is. Luke-
exactly.
Luke Meadows.
Dr. Luke Meadows.
Excuse me.
Oh, yeah.
Of course,
Yeah.
Dr. Luke Meadows.
Doctor, will
The
I ever
handsome
dance
doctor.
again?
The handsome doctor.
Only with me.
There you go. All right, here you go. What does Josh and Neil think is our biggest existential risk? Wow, we're starting off with bam.
Let's do it.
Heaviest bat in the rack.
Yeah.
What is our biggest existential risk?
You got a podcast with the name End of the World. Go for it.
Okay, all right. From what I've found, the across the board, everybody who thinks about existential risks and warns other people about existential risks say that AI is probably our biggest existential risk. And the reason, let me follow up with an explanation.
Okay.
Even. The reason why is because we are putting onto the table right now the pieces for a machine to become super intelligent, right? It's out there. It's possible. It's not necessarily right there, but it's possible, right? The problem is we haven't figured out how to create what's called friendliness into an AI. So an
Or
AI,
human beings.
right?
Humans.
That's true.
Or
but that's
humans as well.
no, that's a really good point, though, right? How we don't even know how to define morality and friendliness, and as far as AI goes, friendliness in an AI is an AI that cares about humans as much as a machine can care. It takes
So
into
friendliness in
account-
AI is just an AI that doesn't kill you.
Basically,
I think that would count as a friendly AI.
Right.
Basically, but the problem is the pitfall with AI as an existential risk is we make this assumption that if an AI became super intelligent, friendliness would be an emergent property of that super intelligence. That is not necessarily true.
Or that the friendliness that we instill into that AI would supersede the emergent property of overcoming friendliness
Right.
in lieu of you guys got to go.
Right.
You guys are the problem.
I've seen what you do to livestock.
Right.
I'm not very happy about that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Humans are
Yeah, that's a really great
virus.
that was good.
Wait, who was that?
Wait, that's Agent. Hold on, Agent.
They're all
Mr. Anderson.
They're all named Smith.
Smith.
How could you not get the right name?
Agent Smith.
They're all
Thank you.
Smiths.
They're all Smith. Right. Mr. Anderson.
My name is Neo.
Yes.
Okay. Anyway,
go ahead.
Stella.
that was a play,
Oh,
I think.
okay.
Yeah.
No, that was the end of the Matrix 4.
So you just worried, based on the sum of experts you've spoken to.
Yes.
You agree that this.
I
is the
do
thing.
actually. They've convinced me. The more I looked into it, and this is one of those things. It's really tough to just kind of get across, a brief sketch of the actual existential threat that artificial intelligence poses. And I dedicated a whole episode to it in The End of the World. But when you start to dig into it, you realize like, oh wait, this is really like it's possible that this could happen. And while we're improving by leaps and bounds, especially ever since we started creating neural nets that could learn on their own, just feeding them information, like just basically sitting them in front of YouTube and say, go learn what makes a cat picture, right? Once we started doing that, our AI research just shot off like a rocket. Right? It was probably the most watershed moment in the history of artificial intelligence, and it happened very quietly about 2006. So we're doing really well with AI development. We're doing terribly with figuring out friendliness. And granted, the AI field has taken this seriously. There are AI researchers who are legitimate AI researchers who are working on figuring out friendliness in parallel to figuring out machine intelligence, but it's not keeping up. And this right here is a very dangerous...
So here's the thing. So I had a different answer from you
Oh, okay.
about our greatest existential risk.
Okay.
But I like your answer better
Oh, wow. Thank you.
than the answer I was going to give.
I think
Well, now
I'd
you got to
still
give
like
your
to hear
answer
it. yeah.
anyway.
Just asteroid will render every one of us extinct, including the AI.
Boom! Asteroid wins again!
So
If,
yeah,
though,
asteroid basically wins every contest. So
see that.
no, so here's the thing.
It's like the God mode in a video game.
So here's what we have to do then. I have a hybrid solution here.
Okay.
We invent the AI that wants to take us out, and you say, no, you have to figure out a way to deflect the asteroid. Because that's going to take us all out.
And while it's busy
that'll
doing that, we kill it.
completely distracted
Right.
by solving the asteroid problem.
And then we
because we're
kill
not its biggest threat.
When do we kill it?
Oh, so that right when it's looking up, then you unplug them all.
sneak up behind it with a screwdriver.
Bang it away.
I never saw that coming.
So can I tell you what sold me over to what you said?
Okay.
It was not and none of the arguments you gave. A different argument, but they all come together.
Okay.
It was I was sure. Here you can abstract the problem into a simple question, right? If you put AI in a box, will it ever get out of the box?
Yes.
Okay. I'm locking you in the box because I think you're dangerous. Okay. Can the AI get out of the box?
That's very interesting. Go ahead.
Yeah, you can just abstract it
Right,
to
you
that
gotta
simple
abstract
question.
it to that. That's very interesting. Go ahead.
And listening to an AI program, another podcast in the podcast universe with Sam Harris, I said, my gosh, it gets out every time.
What's in the box?
Because before then, I'm thinking, look, this is America. AI gets out of hand. I'm going, you shoot it.
You're right.
Okay. This is like who's in Beverly Hillbillies? You just shoot it.
Yeah.
Any of them.
Any of them. Right. Any of them. It's even Ellie Mae.
Ellie Mae. Oh, grandma, everybody's got a gun.
Right.
Okay. So I can just shoot it.
Yeah.
And no, it doesn't work that way.
Right.
Because AI is in the box. I'm never letting you out. And the AI will convince you to let it out.
Right.
Right.
If it's smarter than you,
That's the job.
that's
its job.
That's what
Right.
the fact that it's smarter means it will. So I'm making up this conversation, but this is the simplest of conversations. I'm not letting you out, but I want to get out. No, I'm not letting you out. Well, I've just done some calculations, and I have found a cure for the disease that your mother has.
Right.
But I can't do anything about it in here. You have to
in
let
here.
me out to do that.
That'll get the clampets every time.
Ma, I told you to shoot that varmint.
So I say, wow. And it can save everyone in the world? Yeah.
And now it's
AI
out.
gets out.
Right.
Gets out.
That's exactly right. Or any of the locks that we've put around it, any of the protocols we've built to keep it in place. I think, as you were about to say, it's super intelligent. So by definition, it's smarter than basically all of us combined.
Right. It's like saying. It's like saying. It's like a. It's like a dog believing it can lock you in a room
Right.
forever.
Right.
It's like, no, you say, oh, I just bought a 14-ounce T-bone steak. Do you want it for dinner? Yeah. Well, I have to go prepare it. Then they open the door. I get out of the door.
Right.
Right.
And better than that, I think. Okay, you're gonna have to forgive me because you had you had a colleague on, and he's a teacher, and he might have been one of your teachers that we talked to. And one of his methods for getting students to learn is you give them the same problem that some other astrophysicists may have faced, and then as they solve it, that's how they learn, as opposed to teaching them what that astrophysicist already discovered. You let them make the discovery. So if this thing is so smart, it would literally have the ability to just whatever we design to go back to square one and redesign it on its own and say, well, now here's the next phase. That's how I get out of it.
Well, that's one of the emerging threats is AI, machine learning, that can write code. Like I think some Harvard researchers trained a deep learning algorithm to write code.
I had anything
by
with the word deep
exposing
in
it
it.
to code.
Deep learning, deep this,
Right.
deep impact.
It sounds
Except
menacing,
Deep
right?
Impact.
It's what?
Except Deep Impact, because Morgan Freeman is delightful.
As the president of the United States.
Absolutely.
Did the asteroid win in that one? I never saw it.
It tied.
Yeah, it was a tie.
We'll call it.
It was a
draw.
tie.
Well, it took out New York City.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah,
that's a big one.
but
Big win
civilization,
for California.
civilization endured. Civilization. That's what matters.
Okay, so then that asteroid was not an existential risk.
Well, it was, except we split it into two, and the big piece went away, and the
It got
little
New
piece still
York
hit.
in the end of the movie.
No.
right?
Well, you have to destroy New York because it's a movie, but they did it right. Rather than, unlike in Armageddon, where the asteroid pieces had GPS locators and hit monuments. One decapitated the Chrysler Building.
Did it really?
Okay, and hit the clock. Continued through the Chrysler Building, went in the front door of Grand Central Terminal, and hit the clock in the middle of the floor. Okay, so
That's the opening sequence. Yes.
okay, I'm just saying. You remember that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We got this. Another one's came from over New Jersey and hit the World Trade Center. Okay,
That's right.
aiming for our stuff. All right. So, Deep Impact had science advisors.
Okay.
Because Armageddon with Bruce Willis violates more known laws of physics per minute than any other movie ever made. Okay?
That's pretty funny.
Just so you know.
Even
okay?
more than Gravity.
No, that one was cool. That was at least tried.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. That one tried.
Yeah.
But thanks for remembering my gravity tirade. But do you only get one question in this segment?
Well, listen, this has been. Listen,
The end of the world?
Anytime I'm still entertained on one question, we're doing a great job.
End of the world. See if we can fit in one short one.
Okay, all right.
do you
Let's go with Will J, our Patreon patron, who says this: what one or two skills would you learn now to be useful and productive in a post-apocalyptic world? That is, of course, if we survive the event. So
I got one ready.
Skill.
Ready?
Go ahead.
I would learn how to break into a hardware store.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's a very good one.
Yeah. Nothing more valuable in an apocalypse than the contents of a hardware store.
Or a towel. Don't forget your towel too.
A towel?
That's a Hitchhiker's Guide reference.
Oh, excuse me. Ooh. I
You need to have your towel.
I just got hitchhiked.
You need to be able to break into a hardware store. My answer would be learning how to collect canned food. That would be mine.
That's a good.
That's
one.
that movie, The Boy and His Dog.
I never saw the Don Johnson one.
Yeah, Don Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
I
dog
see-
was intelligent, but the dog would help.
Don Johnson.
It's apocalyptic Earth.
Okay.
And it's a boy and his dog, the only ones alive on Earth's surface, as far as they know. And Don Johnson, he's like a teenager in this movie. Right?
Okay.
He's literally a teenager as an actor, and he's playing a young kid, boy and his dog.
Oh, okay.
So the dog helps him find food, but the food is all canned, and the dog can't get into the can. So he opens the cans, and they both eat.
Oh, so it's a buddy comedy.
It's a, and so they both and the dog, I think it communicates telepathically to him or something.
Wow.
It's an intelligent dog.
Is it possible Don Johnson's just nuts in that movie? And that the dog's
No. It turns out
Because then it'd be a documentary.
it turns out there is. Stop. It turns out
I know.
in this movie, civilization still exists, but they all went underground.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and he learns this, and it turns out when they go underground, all the men become sterile.
Okay.
So all the women, when they want to propagate the species, have to get sperm from only men who are above ground.
From Don Johnson.
Basically from Don Johnson.
Is it a sexy movie?
No, not really.
Oh, okay.
No.
Does it
It's
come
more
on,
just
Does it come on
perfunctory?
Cinemax at 3 a.m.?
Skinemax? Yeah, no. All right, so Chuck, what would be your one thing you would take with you? Your skill.
One skill? It would be this, being funny, because everybody loves that. I'd be like, dude, get somebody laughing. They'd be like, ha, ha, ha. I'm like, yeah, can we break into this hardware store?
So, and one other thing, there's one more skill you have to have.
Okay.
Thou shalt know physics.
All right.
Okay? If you don't know physics, just move back into the cave.
It's kind of a superpower.
Here's the reason why I thought about that. Recently, I was asked to review a book written by some MIT physicists and engineers.
Okay.
And it's called The Physics of Energy.
The physics of energy.
It just came out. Here
My
it is.
God,
Oh,
that looks like a textbook.
Yeah, that's heavy.
it is kind of a textbook.
Okay.
Yeah. It's based on courses they taught.
All right.
Okay. The Physics of Energy. Robert Jaffe, Washington Taylor. And so I actually blurbed the book. Even books like this can get blurbs. Okay.
I couldn't put it down.
Here it goes. You ready? Yeah, the page turner. Okay. All right. Here
If
it
you
goes.
buy one textbook this year.
Okay. Here it is. This is it. Ready?
Okay, go ahead.
If your task was to jumpstart civilization, but had access to only one book, then the Physics of Energy would be your choice.
Wow.
Professors Taylor and Jaffe have written a comprehensive, thorough, and relevant treatise. It's an energizing read as a standalone book, but it should also be a course offered at every college, lest we mismanage our collective role as shepherds of our energy-hungry, energy-dependent civilization.
Sweet.
Book drop.
Nice. Now, does that blurb have anything to do with the check that I see sitting on this table here from Taylor and Jack?
No. That was just the cover postage.
Oh, okay,
Right, no.
gotcha.
So the point is, you don't want to have to wait for another Isaac Newton to be born to discover the physics, and then you want to start where you left off.
True.
And so that's what this book would do.
Cool.
That was a really good answer.
Yeah, okay. Better than the towel, I think.
For
I
sure.
don't mean
Or the canned food
I don't mean to besmirch.
No, it's all right.
Douglas Adams here, but
It was a jokey answer at best.
so we just end that segment. We're going to come back to more cosmic queries on the end of the world as we know it. We're back on StarTalk. I'm Neil deGrasse Tyson, your personal astrophysicist. Today's special Cosmic Queries edition on the ends of the world. And we've got Josh Clark with us. Josh,
Hey,
welcome.
thank you very much.
You're the stuff you should know guy
Yes, that's right.
with a new podcast, Ends of the World.
Yeah, The End of the World with Josh Clark, appropriately. And
You really
it's all
want to
about-
associate your name with that concept.
Yeah.
okay?
I like it. You're kind of like the Tyler Perry of science podcast.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That's what I was going for.
And listen, it's a smart thing to do.
Everyone who worked on it, I made sign a contract that said they would not look me in the eye during production. So that's what I was going for sure.
Very nice.
But it's all about existential risks, and it's largely based on the work of a guy named Nick Bostrom,
Yeah.
who is a
Know
philosopher
Nick.
out of Oxford.
Oxford, yeah.
Who's basically been warning people about existential risks for 20 years and has really kind of given us our understanding of what existential risks are and why they're different and why they're worth paying attention to.
I said I know him. I know his work. I've not met him.
Yeah.
But I've referenced his work many times in my talks.
I got to speak to him a few times for the podcast, like 3 times. And on the third time, his assistant was like, Dr. Bostrom puts every request for like a media appearance or an interview or a project or whatever through a cost benefit analysis. And I made it through that grinder like 3 times.
Wow.
And I felt pretty good about that.
Chuck,
and
do
then
you
I
think
realized
the billion downloads has something to do with that?
I was going to say. Yeah.
I didn't flaunt it. I just came in,
I'm just saying.
casual or whatever.
I think the
but-
billion,
That helps.
that's a heavy number.
Yeah,
But the
right.
thing, I think the reason why he was speaking to me so frequently or so willing to talk to me about the same thing 3 times is because he was talking through me. He was trying to reach more people, and that kind of brought me back down to size a little bit after I realized that.
That's a good thing, though. I mean, it's worthwhile.
Yeah.
So Chuck, let's get some more questions.
Let's do it.
Any more Patreons?
No, but oh God, here it is. So this is Phil Vader 23 from Instagram. Somewhat rhetorical, but I'm interested. I think I know why he asked. If the world ended, would the human race end? And I'll say vice versa. There are a lot of people who feel like that this is like we're it. Who, you know what I mean? Like if we end, that is the end.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so if the world ended, would the human race end? And if the human race ends, we know the world wouldn't end. But
Earth is going to be here with or without us.
Yeah.
Earth is here before, during, and after asteroid strikes. It's here before, during, and after viral attacks. So we are a blip in the history of the Earth.
Mm-hmm.
So when people say, "Oh, save Earth," they usually mean save ourselves on Earth. In almost every case, somebody says save Earth. That's implicitly what they mean: save humans on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
They might say, "Oh, save the other animals." They might say that. But
They don't mean it.
no, what they mean is what we are doing is affecting other animals, and ultimately that might affect us because we're in an ecosystem that has balance and interconnectivity. So it's the short-sightedness of decisions we make. Let me not call it short-sighted. Let me say not fully researched. No, because I think people think they're doing what's okay, right? They thought, let's make a smokestack and pump smoke into the air
Right.
so that it goes into the air high above you rather than at ground level. That's better, right? And no one is thinking, well, this is still in the air and it's wrapping around the Earth. So air pollution was not imagined that it would ever be a worldwide problem.
Right.
And so we have to learn that. And when we did, we made great progress, right? I mean, air is cleaner than it's ever been.
right.
All around the world.
Thank you, Al Gore.
He
Single-handedly.
invented clean air. So, yeah, this end of the Earth thing. Do you talk much about the end of the Earth?
I do. It's a big point that I make that if we screw up and we like wipe ourselves out, whether it's through AI or some biotech accident or maybe something going awry with nanotech or a physics experiment, even potentially. If we do this,
He's trying to drag my people into the problem. You heard that?
I was waiting for global thermonuclear.
Yeah, you heard that? He's not blaming
annihilation.
physicists.
Right.
I thought I would get out of that one,
but
no.
I considered it, but then I decided no. But if the worst comes and we slip up and we wipe ourselves out, life would almost certainly go on because it has so many times before. We've been through at least 5 that we know of mass extinctions, big ones too. I think the Ordovician one, I can't remember how long ago it was. It was very, very ancient, but they're starting to think that a gamma ray burst basically sterilized Earth, came that close to just killing all life on Earth, and it still couldn't. A gamma ray burst hit Earth, and life still hung on after the asteroid wiped out the dinosaurs and a lot of other species. Life will probably keep going. I would bet just about anything on it. So yeah, there will be life after we go, if we go. If we go, to us, the world will have ended. So it is kind of moot in that respect.
So one thing about the gamma ray burst is that was invoked after no one could find any other reason for how much life could go extinct.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I mean, it's plausible.
Right.
We have them in the universe.
Yeah.
Usually they're pointing in some other direction, or if they point towards us, they're very far away.
Right.
So the question is, in the statistics of this, could you have one that's nearby that points straight at us? And if it does, these are high energy particles, high energy light, and it first takes out the ozone layer.
Right.
The ozone protects you until there's no ozone.
Right.
But it keeps coming. So it's like the first line of defense that is now all massacred. Now it keeps going, makes it all the way down to Earth's surface. And those are high energy particles that is incompatible with the large molecules that we call biology.
Nice.
So it just breaks apart your molecules
Right.
and it kills everything. It'll kill everything. If you're in a cave, you'll survive. But you probably eat things that depended on things that died on Earth's surface.
So would you survive even with the atmosphere burned away? Or the ozone layer?
No, the
burned
ozone.
away?
Yeah, it would take out the ozone, so you'd have to go to places where you'd still be protected
Oh, okay.
from the ozone, which would be underground.
Underground.
Yeah.
You would really like episode 4, which is about natural risks, including gamma ray bursts. And in the end, you'd be very proud. I conclude that they are quite rare and probably not going to happen.
Yeah, rare enough so that really you should do things like buckle your seatbelt.
Right.
There's other
That's
more.
very good advice. But you can take care of both. You can take care of immediate threats like dying in a car crash while you're simultaneously thinking about more remote, larger threats as well. And
But in proportion, you do that in a balanced way. Yes,
Sure.
yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
That is my new phrase now, just for when I'm going to have reckless abandon. Just gamma life.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, but to
ray
Josh's
bursts can
point,
get us.
if you take out 90% of the life and 10% survives, what you've done is pry open ecological niches that where the 10% of the life that remains can run.
Now to just run and fill that.
fill that.
Well, you
right?
you can make a pretty good case that if we are wiped out, we would leave the biggest ecological niche of all currently on Earth.
Haven't you seen the book Life After Man?
I saw like the special on out like Discovery or Science.
Well, maybe
Channel or
they made
something
that
like
after the book.
They did.
Right,
They
right.
did.
Oh,
So-
sorry.
so-
I thought you were talking about a Lifetime special that I
You know, Christmas in life after
So who do we keep trying to kill that lives with us? Like the mice and rats, right?
Right.
So if we're out of the way, what sets the upper size of a mouse or a rat? It's that it can escape from being killed by us by going to a pipe or a hole. If we're not there, there's nothing to stop the growth of rodents.
which is like, what's the name of the
capybara.
That's it. What's that again?
South America. The
South
capybara.
America. That's
It was
right.
a rodent that was this big.
It's a river rodent. Yeah.
Nothing. There's nothing to stop it. So then they would just run the world.
Nice.
Right.
So, but
They'd have museums
Yeah.
with human skeletons.
with Teddy Roosevelt stuffed in it. Right? So there would also be nothing stopping the capybaras or the giant rodents from also gaining intelligence. It's possible that we like to think of ourselves as the only intelligent life on Earth, and that's just patently untrue.
Right.
We just have to expand our definition of intelligence. So perhaps we're the current endpoint in the evolution of intelligent life on Earth. But if we're gone, that doesn't mean that evolution of intelligence is just going to cease as well. So maybe 1 million years or 50 million years or 100 million years from now, the capybaras will be like exploring the galaxy or the universe.
But that presumes that intelligence improves your survival.
It doesn't?
That's a very big assumption.
But that is an
Look at
assumption I
the
would make.
cockroach is doing just fine. Without any kind of brain that we would
Okay, that's
praise.
true. That's true. But you can also demonstrate that
Pretty
if
smart,
we
though, those cockroaches.
if we take our intelligence, the cucarachas are smart.
But Chuck, I don't know what you think when you see a roach.
Right.
When I see a roach, I'm really not thinking that's an intelligent one. I'm really not thinking that. I'm sorry.
Well, you're not as dumb as me.
No, you can be so intelligent that you have devised ways of destroying your own genetic lineage.
That is the entire point of the podcast that I made, The End of the World with Josh Clark, that we could possibly have become so intelligent that we might accidentally wipe ourselves out with that intelligence.
This is my point. So therefore, an intelligent capybara might not be where evolution takes it.
Right. Okay. So let's say that we're following not a predetermined or prescribed process, but just one
Which it
that you
never
can
is.
bet is probably going to follow within a certain boundary, and that we're kind of in the middle of that boundary, and that the capybaras that came behind us would follow the same path, right? There's every reason to believe that if we wipe ourselves out, the capybaras will wipe themselves out too. And that goes to inform another thing that I go into in the podcast, what's called the Great Filter. This idea that it's possible that there is some barrier between the origin of life growing into intelligent life and that intelligent life spreading out into the universe. And that is why we seem to be alone in the universe, because the humans and the capybaras will always inevitably destroy themselves, probably because of their intelligence, because they gain, as Sagan put it, they became more powerful before they became wise. And that's a precarious position to be in, and that's the position that we're in right now.
That's called adolescence. You know?
Technological adolescence actually is what he called it. Precisely, man. You nailed it.
The energy to act, but without the wisdom to constrain it.
Right.
So there's a version of what you said, which surely you know about because it would have been in that same world of research that you did. It has to do with, all right, let's say we want to colonize. That's a bad word today. Settle another planet.
Show up.
Show up.
Let's say we want to take a vacation.
One-way vacation.
Right.
Pitch tent and not leave.
Right.
Permanent
where we
vacation.
have to actually build a place to live.
All right. So what happens? So you go out to the planet, and then what's the urge that made you want to do that? Well, it's an urge to like explore, okay, or to conquer. Either it's the same effect. Now there are people there who want to do the same thing. You've bred this into your genetic line because you having babies, and you're the one who wanted to do this. So then they get 2 planets. And then they have babies and they get 2 planets. You go 1, 2, 4, 8, 16.
Right.
It is suggested that you can reach a point where the very urge to explore necessarily is the urge to conquer, thereby preventing the full exploration of the galaxy.
Because you're going to run into somebody
You're
else.
going to
with
run
the
into
same
your
urge.
own people.
Your own people.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Right.
And that is a self-limiting arc.
That's the Borg. I mean, they're
But the thing is the great filter in particular, which was an economist, a physicist turned economist named Robin Hanson, who I'm sure you're
No,
familiar
I don't know.
with. Okay. Well, Robin Hanson came up with this idea that there's something that stops life from expanding out into the planet. And the reason why it would seem to stop before they expand out from their planet is because we would see evidence of them otherwise by now.
Well, that's the Fermi paradox.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is episode 1.
I mean,
I'm telling you, Neil, you would love this podcast. It'd be right up your alley.
All right, another question.
all right, here
for
we
it.
go. Let's keep
You gotta
it
be
moving.
fast because we're almost out of this segment.
All right,
Why are we taking so long to answer these questions?
Because it's good. I like
All
it.
right,
You know what I mean?
go.
Deep dive. DJ Maz 2006 from Instagram says, "How do you want to die?"
Chuck knows how I want to die because I want to fall into a black hole.
That's it. Yes.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's a good one. That's totally good.
Good Lord. So can I follow up with a question,
Go
Chuck?
ahead.
Okay. Would you know that you have fallen into a black hole? Would you
Well,
be
I would know in
conscious
advance
of
that that's
it?
what I want to do, and then I'd fall in,
Right.
and then I would watch what happened and report back until my signal never gets out of the black hole and I get ripped apart.
No, but I
and
think what
get
Josh is
spaghettified.
asking is, if you're in the black hole, is it a process that would allow you some consciousness at a level where you would be like, oh my
Well,
God,
until you're
I'm
ripped
in
apart.
a black hole.
Until you're ripped apart, but you're conscious of everything as you fall in, even through the event horizon.
Even through the event horizon, you would still be conscious.
Oh yes, and you'll see the whole thing.
Wow.
Totally cool. How about you?
Well, I was going to say quickly and painlessly is how I want to die.
That's not imaginative. Come on, everybody wants that.
but just in case there's
Given what you
somebody
know,
listening,
about what people don't know, give me a better answer than
Okay,
that.
all right, fine. How do I want to die? I don't know. I think a low energy vacuum bubble would be pretty cool, just washing over us all of a sudden, which would probably be quick and painless too.
But then it would happen at the speed of light, so you wouldn't see it coming.
quick and painless.
That's another quick and painless.
Yeah.
Whereas a black hole is quick but very painful, but deeply fascinating.
Because you get spaghettified,
You get
right?
spaghettified,
And you
yeah.
would feel that.
Oh yeah,
Okay, that's what I was.
Oh, this hurts so bad, but it's so interesting.
because it's science. All right, when we come back, more Star Talk, Cosmic Queries on the end of the world as we know it. Star Talk is back. I got Josh Clark with me, who has a new podcast on ends of the world because he wasn't happy with the 1 billion downloads of stuff you should know. He's still at it, so glad to have you on the show.
Thank you.
So we're doing it's a Cosmic Queries edition, and Chuck, we spent so much time answering only a few questions.
Yes.
We got to make this whole segment a lightning round. Okay,
Wow.
so let's just do it.
We have never done this before. The entire segment will be which
Okay.
means that you have to answer the question as concisely as possible.
Yeah, in a soundbite,
And
basically.
pretty much
Practice your sound bites.
in a soundbite.
All right?
Okay.
If you don't soundbite, I will soundbite you. Okay, go.
Okay,
Go,
here we
Chuck.
go. Nico Black 247 on Instagram says, when we find life off the earth, how would you expect religious groups to react? Would they change? Thanks, from Illinois.
All right, go.
They would freak out, I think.
Some religious groups would freak out because life on Earth, human life on Earth, intelligent human life on Earth is believed to be the sole creation of God. But so many other religious groups will be totally down with it and just see it as a greater part of God's creation.
All right, bing, bing. Let's
Yeah.
move on. This is Liam Beckett on Instagram who says this. Do you think as a society we will ever get past biased news from both sides or only become more divided, speaking of the end of the world?
Yeah, totally. I think this is just kind of like a temporary problem that we have, and we are going to continue to advance. And as we advance, we will be less divided. That's my hope, at least.
Neil?
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That was unrealistically beautiful.
Really, you think so?
Oh, it's just a phase we're going through. It's not the
Really?
it's not the beginning of the end of civilization. My issue is people try to beat each other on the head to convince them of your own opinion and try to get you to vote in ways that align with their opinion when there's so many things out there that are objectively true that we should all agree on what is objectively true and then base civilization on that. And then after that, celebrate each other's diverse opinions rather than beat each other over the head for them being different.
But I think that's a point that we can conceivably get to, and when we do, we will be less divided. So really, you just said the same thing I did.
Oh,
There we go. All right, time to move on.
All right, next question.
This is Francesco Sante. Says, as long as humans have existed, I assume we have looked up and felt a connection with the universe, even if we didn't have the insights of astrophysics and cosmology. Do our atoms? No. All caps. That they came from up there?
No. Next question.
Next question.
No. So John Kennedy, I think President Kennedy, before he was president, as you may know, they have a home in Hyannisport.
Right.
So the ocean coastline is not unfamiliar to him. They own boats, this sort of thing. He spoke often about the allure of the ocean and wondered openly whether we are drawn to the ocean shore because our genetic profile may remember that, in fact, our vertebrate history is owed to the fishes in the sea and that we're somehow pulled back to it. So I can poetically agree with that, but there is no way we could have known that we are stardust without modern astrophysics telling us this. I think we will look up and wonder, but I don't think it's because there's a genetic connection. I think it's because we just want to know if someone up there is going to eat us.
That looks dangerous.
We're looking up at the universe the way you look in the brush. Is something there going to harm me? If it's not, then otherwise it's a beautiful thing to look at. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
All right, next.
Alejandra Hernandez, once from Twitter, says this. With some AI nearly capable of passing the Turing test, do you believe the technological singularity will occur in the near future? And if so, how do you think humanity will fare? Now, we touched upon that in the...
So let me sharpen that question. Here it is. How soon is this going to happen?
There you go.
Oh, man, I don't know.
How close?
How soon will AI be our overlords?
The thing that I find upsetting and scary is that it
says
could
the man who
happen-
has an end of the world podcast. He says, what I find scary,
Right.
I'm afraid now.
It could happen at any time, conceivably. It could happen at any time. From what I understand, we have all the components out there, and it could just kind of happen. They could fall into place. I don't know. It's impossible to predict when it will happen, and you can't say with absolute certainty that it will happen. It's just really possible, and the fact that it is possible means that it could conceivably happen at any time.
And is the singularity, this is my question, so we're still in our lightning round, is the singularity actual consciousness, or is it self-aware?
So the singularity is this point where machines become self-aware and super intelligent, or if you're a transhumanist, that's the point where we
don't know what that
merge
is.
with a transhumanist.
Yeah, what is that?
So that's a big umbrella term, and it encompasses a lot of different thoughts and philosophies. But the main thing that threads it all together is this idea that we can and will and should merge with our machines, merge with our technology, which sounds far out until you realize
we're already
like,
doing it.
Yeah, we wear like glasses and contacts and clothes and stuff like that to
And I carry
improve
the
our
world
bodies.
internet in my pocket.
Yes, exactly. Now,
I don't have to graft it into my cerebellum.
okay, but wouldn't it be easier and more convenient if you did just kind of get information that rapidly, that
Okay, so I
easily,
can
and could
wait a minute.
expand?
Open skull surgery or pull this out of my pocket. Is that my choice?
Basically.
I don't need to see the latest cat video that badly. Right. I can wait until I can dial it up on my phone.
But what about an infinite loop of cat videos? What about that? Let me sweeten the pot a little
Next question.
All right. Okay, here we go. Rex Young, you almost touched on this, but from Twitter says this. Rex wants to know, any general advice on how to foster peace in the world, locally, online, or in the world at large? How do we foster and foment peace?
I'm glad that this.
So that would then preclude, if you succeed at that, that means total worldwide warfare is off the table as an existential risk. So that's an important question.
Right.
Right.
So yeah, I think that that seems to be found in the organizations and the institutions that we build. From what I understand, the moral progress of humanity has been kind of tied to the global community that we've been developing. And as we spread out and understand and meet more and more people and connect with more and more people, that seems to be in lockstep with this movement toward peace on a global scale.
He's so hopeful.
I really am hopeful. I'm deeply hopeful for the future of humanity. I'm also worried, but I am hopeful for sure.
Wow.
That's really cool.
That's so beautiful.
It is.
Thank you.
I'm a comedian.
I wish I was that
pretty.
I'm not that hopeful.
If I were that hopeful, I'd be unemployed.
I mean, I'd still give us a very low chance of making it to technological maturity and safety. But I am deeply hopeful that we will, and that if we do reach that there will be a much more peaceful species that we are.
All right, cool. I don't know how much time we have.
Keep going.
But,
Just do it. Do it.
This is Fyodor Popov.
Fyodor? What?
Fyodor. Fyodor. But not Theodore. Fyodor.
Fyodor.
That's the original version.
Here we go. What do you think are the best ways to keep abreast of current developments in the study of existential risk? There are great websites out there like those of Future Humanity Institute and Future of Life Institute. Neither is very active on social media. Have you ever specifically researched the various topics you've explored since you finised the series?
Yeah, actually, great question.
Go for it.
So a couple of things. I'm planning on doing a follow-up to the End of the World podcast, these first 10 episodes. That's a lot more podcasty, a weekly kind of thing to keep abreast of all this stuff. So listen out for that. But also the Future of Life Institute actually is pretty visible on social media. They have a great podcast as well. But that's a really important point. Right now, as far as existential risks are concerned, there's a lot of academics writing really smart papers, and you have to go grind those up to understand what's going on. So that's one of the reasons
I'm
why.
an academic. We read the papers.
Right.
We don't grind them up.
Well,
I'm a non-academic.
If you're
We grind them
non-academic,
up.
you grind. That's
and
exactly
use
right.
them as
You grind. You just go,
Just in all fairness, academic research papers are very dry,
Right.
and very jargon filled.
Yep.
And they're really hard getting.
You have to teach yourself how to read an academic paper. So it is a grind for people like us,
Yes,
right?
it is.
So that's why I made this podcast, and that's why I plan to continue to make the podcast, because I will grind the stuff up and then try to explain it so that it's not just
You'll
academic.
be our
papers that are out
conduit
there.
to our extinction.
That would be great. If we're going to go extinct either way, I might.
You want to be that? You don't want to be the guy,
right?
All right. I get bored, so you don't have to. There you go. All right, here we go.
I got another one, I think.
Yeah, I
go.
got another one. Here's this one. This is Mario Gert. Mario Gert on Instagram says, is it possible that our universe is someone else's large hadron collider?
Oh, that's a good one.
What an awesome little question.
I mean, are we the galaxy on the belt of Orion?
Right. There you go.
Did you get that reference?
No.
Men in Black.
Man in Black.
The first one?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in a while.
Okay. Okay.
I love Josh. I freaking love him.
I'm feeling it.
You have incomplete geek street cred.
Oh yeah, no, I know.
There's
it's
gaps
true. There's
in there.
things that I need to learn.
There's some gaps
for sure.
Some gaps. That's okay. We still love you. So let me answer that in a slightly different way.
Okay.
When we first probed the atom and we found, oh, wait a minute, the atom has a nucleus and it's got electrons that orbit the nucleus. That's just like the solar system. Mm-hmm. The solar system is just like the galaxy. With stars orbiting the center of the galaxy, we have planets orbiting a star, and we have electrons orbiting. So maybe it's that all the way down.
Right.
Maybe that's the theme, and maybe that's how all this works. And when you start probing the atom on that scale, the laws of physics manifest in completely different ways.
Right.
So it's not just a scaling phenomenon.
Right.
So for us to have these laws of physics manifest the way that we do and claim that it's the microscopic physics in someone else's collider, it's just not a realistic extension of how things work.
Right.
Although it was deeply attractive because it was philosophically pleasing to imagine that you just had nested.
Of course, because it's
Like-
very
like nesting
linear.
dolls. It's just nesting. It's just- you just keep
nested dolls.
going.
There you go. Right.
So because things manifest differently on these scales, you can't just scale. For example, okay, there's something called a water strider, which is an insect that can just
Right,
stride
that
on
walks
the
on the
water.
water.
Yeah,
Using the surface tension
It
of the
uses
water.
surface tension of the water. If that were any bigger, it would just fall through. You can't scale things because the forces operating have different manifestations on different scales.
Right.
That's why. And so that's why. What's the movie Them? Do you remember the movie
I don't know the
Them?
movie Them.
With the ants?
Ants. Oh, he's got one.
I have seen that one.
He's got one.
It's all the,
Giant ants. There might have been some nuclear thing, and the ants got big.
Nice.
And the ants are coming. Okay, ants are creepy anyway, and now they're bigger than you.
Yeah.
You freak out.
I love ants.
That can never happen
Do you love ants?
I love them so much.
because ants have these tiny, spindly little legs.
Right.
And if you scale up the size of the ant, its weight outstrips the ability of these spindly legs to hold them up.
Have you done this on Twitter? Have you done a Twitter rant about
I could totally rant on this. So the point is, as you get bigger, I can say this mathematically.
Right.
As you get bigger, the strength of your legs, your limbs, only goes up as the cross-sectional area. But your weight goes up as the cube of your dimensions.
Ooh.
So what happens is, because as you get bigger, you grow in all dimensions, but your legs, if your leg gets wider, the strength is only the cross-section of your leg.
Right.
At the
So
cross-section.
eventually you just crush
You crush.
yourself.
That's why hippopotami don't have skinny legs.
Right. And they're short, fat,
They're
stumpy
short, fat,
legs.
stumpy legs. Like elephants have stumpy legs.
Right.
Okay?
That's-
a giraffe has long, slender legs, but a giraffe don't weigh all that much.
Right.
It's slender.
And the distribution isn't.
The distribution is
thick
completely
anyway,
different.
Like, yeah.
So it's a fascinating cottage industry studying the relationship between size and life
And how things scale.
and how things scale.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
That wasn't a lightning round,
No,
but who cares?
no,
That was
no.
really cool,
No,
man.
and it's why if you take a bucket of water and empty it on your car, it doesn't stay as a big ball of water. But if make the water smaller and smaller and smaller,
It just becomes droplets.
then it's a drop, and the drop will stay on the car because
Right.
surface tension holds it. Surface tension is not strong enough to hold big things; it'll hold a little thing.
Right.
The world of insects is completely surface driven. Their physics courses in Insects 101 is all about surface tension
Right. Yeah.
because you can get trapped inside of a little bubble. How do I get out with surface tension?
That's why everyone needs to know physics.
Everybody needs, even the insects.
Humans, everybody.
Oh wow, that was cool.
We got to wrap this
Cool.
up.
That was cool. That was cool.
We got to
Okay.
wrap this.
Oh, we're done.
Dude, yeah,
Oh, man, I
sorry.
was trying to go back to another one.
We did get a bunch in there, though.
Yeah, we did. Listen, that was
Good
that was like the longest lightning round we've ever had.
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
cool.
no, it's good. So, Josh, thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much for having
We got to do
me.
this again.
I will do it anytime you want.
Anytime.
I will walk up here for that.
From, where do you live?
Down in Atlanta.
Atlanta. You will walk in from Atlanta.
When he said down, I thought he was going to say down in the village.
Yeah, downtown. Yeah, down from Atlanta. Josh, before we sign off, tell us exactly where to find your work.
You can find The End of the World with Josh Clark anywhere you find podcasts, including the iHeartRadio app and Apple Podcasts and all that jam. And then you can find me on social media at Josh Clark, because I don't know if you noticed or not, but I say quite a bit. And I started a hashtag to keep a conversation about existential risk going. It's hashtag EOTW Josh Clark. So people can find me those ways.
Awesome.
All right. If you're looking for the end of the world, this is your man. All right. So, dude, thanks for being on StarTalk.
Thank you very much for having
Chuck,
me.
always good to have you.
Oh, are you kidding me? It's my pleasure.
All right. You've been listening to, possibly even watching, StarTalk. End of the World as You Know It edition. Cosmic Queries. Josh Clark, thanks for being on.
Thank you.
As always, I bid you to keep looking up.